when Ditto Insurance came, most of the stories I would hear around was that these are the people you call if you have any doubts around your insurance or just in insurance in general. And ये बेचते नहीं है कुछ भी. ये आपकी doubt clear करते हैं, बोलते हैं कि thank you और कुछ help चाहिए तो बता दीजिए. Like, how do you build a business or based on that?
Our marketing was always, if you see, we were never selling the product. That doesn't sell trust. We were always telling, we are selling advice. Come and take us free advice. And automatically that builds trust and those people become your customers. Like, Nike never used to say, I have a great shoes. They always used to talk about great athletes, right?
How big is insurance in India? We have had 550 million people jump into insurance last year.
All these buzzwords, etc., we never focused on that. We actually purely focused on what can be done to, help customers, what that person really needs. That itself helped us to build something that is useful and valuable. Market size कितना है, TAM कितना है, ये इसका क्या है, कभी उस पे focus किया ही नहीं. I don't know any numbers. In fact, none of us, our founders, remember our numbers last year कितना किया था. We feel a lot of these things are distractions. We are doing without taking a toll on our mental health and on our physical health.
Closer to around COVID, I had my father who underwent a major surgery, and then the insurance, which we thought was a great one and would cover, would only reimburse some 50% of the overall cost. They gave too many reasons based on our policy, only so much and things like that, right? How does a person like me make sure that we don't end up in that situation? Hello and welcome to another edition of ISN Podcast, जहां पर we speak to amazing entrepreneurs and killer curiosity. Yes, you're right. We try to get founders, entrepreneurs, people who are doing unconventional things, who are taking paths that are less taken, and are building something super interesting. Just like our previous podcasts, in today's episode, we have someone who has been going through the journey of building a business in the area of personal finance and insurance. The brand name is one that you would have definitely come across at some point in your life. Whether you would have consumed it knowingly or unknowingly, it's going to be a super, super fun journey. So it is my privilege to have here Pawan, who is the founder of FinShots and Ditto Insurance. Pawan, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to ISN.
Hey, thanks for having me on this show. It's really a pleasure.
Amazing. And before I go into, the serious questions of, why should people take personal finance seriously? What is insurance business all about and all? I'm sure you get that all the time. Let's just go with something very basic, right? You look like a young guy. You look like somebody who doesn't have finance is the first thing that will come to mind. Like, why did you end up picking something like finance and talking about it over so many other fancy things that you could have built a business around?
Actually, it happened, I do believe a lot of things happens to you out of nowhere, a lot of things. I was never into finance as such. The journey of finance that happened, it started with stock market, actually. I was a stock market trader when I just graduated from my engineering college. You get money for the first time, you start earning, and then आपको लगता है कि, क्या करना है उस पैसे का first time.
कब की बात है?
I graduated in 2014 from my engineering college. So 2014-15, and I was very curious, and my relationship with my money was very different as compared to any other people that I meet or hear day in, day out. People believe in a lot of savings, going slow, while a guy like me was almost like, what next thing I can do with this money? I want new experiences. So one of my, friend who suggested me that there is a bird called stock market. Stock market एक चिड़िया है जिसमें आप पैसा डालो तो पैसा डूब जाता है mostly. That was his view at that point of time. And I said, why not? Let's see what had happened. I want to try new things in my life. I was bored with my first job. I was not liking it. Yeah, and I opened the stock market account and started trading from day one. Started losing money. I think the best thing that I liked about it was thrilling. And I feel as a person, I was always like, taking risk, living always life on bit edge. I was always like that, I feel, and this new thrill was something kept me excited. And then, yeah, over the time, I realized that, once I get out of I started trading full time, I realized in India, it's highly underpenetrated stock market at that point of time. It's the story is different.
Yeah.
But back then it was highly underpenetrated, and I was like, thinking about it. Why not we make an app that could help people to understand stock market? That was the idea how it started. And then, I was in IIM Ahmedabad. Told this idea to my friends. We, in the IMA you have this scholarship where if you want to opt out of placements, you can take this scholarship and start your startup. So I was never interested in going back to corporate because I felt I was not made for it. I deeply realized it that I don't like it, and it's very hard for me to do something that I don't like. But I'm really a person who if something I like, I think about it all the time, and it's very hard for me to not touch it again. I just keep on getting attracted towards it. So stock market was the first thing that happened, and I was completely drifting towards it even after I lost a lot of money in that. But I was like, we can build something around it. And then my friends joined, and I was telling them, let's start something. And since we didn't get any funding initially when we opted out of placements, the only thing we could do was to write about finance. And the funny thing was, none of us were from any finance background. We were just a fresh MBA graduate who wanted to do something for young people who want to come to stock market, write about, and in a very, layman way. And that's how we started Finception. We did it for a year, and then, we got better at it. And then we realized long form nahi chalega. We have to keep it short. And once Zerodha invested, we started the newsletter FinShots. So see, a lot of things didn't happen because, day before yesterday, I posted on my LinkedIn that, your startup is bound to fail if you're not lucky. Because what we planned actually never happened. We never wanted to become a content company. We never started to become a content company. But the option nahi tha, to content likhna pada. And that was the cheapest option that you can do without money. We never wanted to become an insurance company. But since Zerodha invested, we cannot become a stockbroker. So we thought, aur kya kar sakte hain? And the funny thing was, COVID happened. And in COVID, a lot of insurance thing was going on, and we thought we could do something around insurance. It's very complicated. Anyways, we are writing about finance. Let's simplify insurance. So it's a lot of things are not planned. It's just you pivot at the heat of that moment, and it just happens.
No, absolutely. And I think as an entrepreneur, that's something that you need to be open to embrace also, right? कि भाई मैं अपनी तरफ से तो करते जाते हैं, but I'll keep my ears and eyes open कि भाई जहाँ पे भी मुझे कुछ opportunity दिखे that seems more aligned to what we are working on, we will try to jump on it. पता नहीं कहाँ we will end up, but let's try.
Some of the biggest learning for me was to not, hold yourself so rigid and not to keep that mindset full of ego.
Right.
Because these two things will just not let you embrace things so easily. It will just waste your time, and you will end up losing a lot of things. Because many times you are in love so much with something that you in fact become attached to it, and you don't want to, nahi, yehi karna. In startup, it doesn't work. A year and a half before, there was no such thing as AI. But now everywhere is just AI. Right? Correct. You just can't. That's what the world is going towards. So you have to change your strategy. You have to think about it. Right. So I believe in not having any plans. I don't make plans for long term. I do have a short term. I work in a 6 months yearly basis goal. What I want to achieve in 6 months a year. That's it. I don't think about 5 years, 10 years down the line. I don't plan for it. And I feel that is best way, because a lot of shit happens in the middle that you have not planned for. And if you face that, then you keep on thinking about your 5 years goal, 10 years goal, you just keep on increasing the regret quotient for your life. So there is no point of living life with so much regret. At least you can minimize it. You obviously there will be some, but you can minimize it.
बहुत ही interesting है कि, and I think that's again going by the nature of the work you are in. It's advice that is not so popular, right? It's a very unpopular opinion कि भाई ज़्यादा दूर का मत सोचो, short term सोचो, short term में क्या कर रहे हो. When you are talking about finance, you're talking about planning your 20-year retirement and everything.
We don't
It
do
seems
that.
like a very unpopular opinion.
We don't do that. I see, that's why we are into insurance also, which is like immediate something happens. It's just a covering your risk.
Right.
See, honestly, if you ask me, I as a person also have never believed in the word called retirement, and neither I have a saving mind. I never had. Since I was telling you how I started, I left my job, I burned a lot of my savings, and I just wanted to experience life. I do believe that life is one. All you have is one life. Obviously, risk kitna lena hai, of course, that should be measurable. But I mean, the time you have right now is not going to come back. What you have right now in 30 and you are planning to save for 40, you might not be able to enjoy the same way that you want now. Correct. So there is a difference. Of course, there is no such thing as right or wrong. It's just the perspective. And whatever makes you happy, keeps you happy, that's what matters at the end of the day.
And I love that, because and I think it's completely resonates with me because so me and my wife, we love to travel, right? So हमारा जब भी हम choose करना होता है कहाँ जाए अगला या where should we be planning for the next trip and all, usually the conversation ends up becoming कि यार अभी उम्र है, अभी हम लोग चल सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं, ये चीजें कर लेते हैं, पता नहीं 10 साल बाद में if we have the stamina to do it or not, right? So yeah, like you said, you should be excited about it. You should be happy by doing something, and then obviously, kal kisne dekha hai, so plan for now. But before before we go into your journey with Ditto and even your planning structure, I had one question as well for you, right? Now you also from day one you have taken the path of कि भाई मुझे corporate में काम नहीं करना है, मुझे stock market करना है, when stock market did not seem to be lucrative. In fact, most people will not think of stock market as a viable opportunity as well, right? As a business or as a career as well. What was the pushback from your family side and all? I am a graduate है हमारा लड़का और job छोड़ के stock market कर रहा है. Like, did you have pushback?
So see, my relationship with my family was a bit different as compared to what I used to see with for my peers. I was on my own since engineering. I mean, I was not taking money from my parents. In fact, at some point, I was sending money back to home also. So the idea was, that I never wanted to compromise on anything in my life. And as I said, I was curious. And see, I grew up with very limited resources, right? So when you grew up with very limited resources, you tend to focus. You either become you either shift in two directions, either in one or the other. One is where either you become a complaining one, where you see what others have and what you don't have, or you become the other one where you focus on what you have and stay and build things on what you have rather than focusing what you don't have. So I became this one, right? So I never used to think I can't do this because I don't have a very privileged background. I never used to think, because I think I can do it. I just have to figure out a way, right? So my family, of course, knew I was a bit different. They used to tell me that what you are doing, I don't know why you are doing, and you could have taken a good job. Why so much of pain, etc. But yeah, I mean, I never used to listen to them. Honestly, I was I don't know, good or bad is very subjective to me, but technically in tradition of Indian parents, you would say that's a bad child. But I hardly used to listen to anyone. In fact, I used to listen to myself most of the time. Most of my decisions were just, I felt I did. I hardly used to ask my parents. I used to tell them that I'm going to do this. So yeah, and when you do become like that, you get immense responsible. You become immense responsible because if shit happens, you are the one who is responsible, because everyone will say, "हमने तो बताया था." Correct?
Right.
Instead, following others, perspective or decision, and then you don't really agree to that, and if it doesn't have, you said, "कि ये तो मेरा भी नहीं था anyways," right? So
Right.
I was always like that, and I chose my poison always. So and I never went into regret mode. Never. I lost like almost my all savings. But I took it as positively that this is place which I can still build on, stock market.
Right.
And I said, okay. And that defined what I am now. In fact, I could have stopped, became, completely agnostic about anything investment. But I did a completely opposite because I felt ki, you can build on that thing. You might not have to run away from it. So becoming an entrepreneur is something I think it was since childhood. I never thought that I would be working. I always used to believe that someday I would start something. And I used to have this discussion with my elder brothers, etc., that I will build something. So it was right there in my head. And IMA just gave me a good chance. Of course, it was a bit difficult because of the loan, etc. But yeah, I mean, see, risk nahi lena is the biggest risk, So for me, if it could work out, I said, fine. I mean, if it doesn't work out, what you can do, right? So yeah, but
on the same lines of, ki haan bhai, at a younger age of, you can take the risk, you can try, you can experiment.
I knew it. I'm very young and I could start right now. I started when I was 25. Right. So I knew that this is not going to come back. Your responsibility will keep on increasing, and once you get into this habit of or addiction of paychecks month on month, it's very hard to come out. It's very hard to come out, because see, more than idea or more than your execution is still important, but I feel doing business and startup or entrepreneurship is more of a mindset game. And your mindset game is something that builds over the time. Have you noticed a lot of business family folks, how they think very differently. Their relationship with money is very differently, and they're bound to do better in life with their business or anything, because their mind was trained to think like that. That's different. And when you compare about a middle class person, they always go ahead and think about saving and not taking risk. And that was the major difference, when I used to talk to my dad, etc. I was a spender. I used to spend more than I had always, and You were
always one of those kids ki माँ बोलते थे यार क्या करेगा ये, कैसे रहेगा
ये. Yeah, that's just the right thing. So I used to just blow away with the money, whatever I had, whatever little I had, So because I wanted to try new things, because I feel this should be the way. I used to tell myself, because my parents used to take completely opposite. You should not be that way. So for us, I think for people like us, family used to believe that getting a good government job is the best thing to happen. And I was completely against it. I never wanted to, especially government job. And over the time, I realized I'm not made for any job. See, my mindset was a businessman from day one. And that's the reason why I am here. I convinced my friends also to join me. And of course, it's not easy initially. Anything that you want to do big will always have some problems here and there. Otherwise, why everybody will do it. Right. So it's bound to be tough. So I feel, you should, basically the only way to grow is to taking more than what you can actually do at that point of time. Right. So taking bigger challenges helps you grow. That's one thing that I realized long back, and
Right.
it helped me, So yeah, that's the story.
That's great. That's great. And, it also shows that how different entrepreneurs build different businesses as well, right? Because you bring your personality into it, you bring how you think, how you approach things. Because so there's no
Yeah,
one way of building a good
yeah,
business
yeah.
or a
There
big
is no
business,
one way.
right?
Yeah,
And you need to be true and very clear about कि भाई आपकी क्या personality है, what kind of a person you
yeah.
are, and that really helps building business. I think that's great. I also wanted to take a quick minute now on you said that you don't plan more than 6 months, 1 year. Is that a general you just make a point कि भाई अगले 6 महीने में ये करना है कि do you also follow some sort of framework and all? Because you are also um, in a business where it helps to follow certain frameworks. I don't know if you have some tips of doing it better, or it's just
Uh,
about being clear.
I mean, see, a lot of scenario changes. When I say planning for 6 months a year, a lot of market dynamics changes, and
Mhm.
when you talk about business, so I feel जितना simple रखो उतना अच्छा है,
Right.
right? When I say simple रखो, what does that mean? It means that one of the business is your service should be top notch, your customer should be happy. Okay.
Hmm.
It sounds easy, easier said than being done, because it has a lot of depth. Now, when I see my business right now, there are so many touch points where customer might get unhappy, right?
Hmm.
And to build it foolproof, I feel it's a mammoth task. You have to go, because you want to grow business also. So you will hire multiple people, a lot of people, which we are right now, right? So on that scale, to keep customers happy, you need to build these people minds, the mindset of these people like yours,
Hmm.
like how you think, how you want to give experience to the customers, right? So when you think like that, right, you automatically move towards providing value to the customer in a much better way. You used to all the strategies that you derive from those insight that you get from the customer, you tend to build all. So it always goes from customer to our product. That okay,
Hmm.
customer wants it, advisor face this problem, we are not able to deliver, so now we have to build this,
Hmm.
right? And it's an ongoing process, it never ends, it's an ongoing process. You learn with the time. आज मैं बोल दूं 5 साल के बाद मुझे ये करना है, maybe I
Hmm.
would be doing this, I would do that. I mean, I feel that's not the right way. You can of course think in a way where okay, I would grow a business to a certain level if the same ceteris paribus extends. We'll have 1 million customers, let's say. With exactly the same layer, let's say I had 100 people, I was able to deliver good customer experience with 100 people without any complaint, without any escalation. Okay, next year I will be able to do it 200. Next year we will be able to do 400, right? Without any escalation. Because what are we doing? We are providing we are a service company. We are providing a insurance advice to people, and then they purchase from
Right.
us, right?
Right.
So keeping this much simple helps us also to understand that okay, we first have to do the basics right. Now you can tell me, or I can tell you that I will venture into 5 years later into motor, fire, marine, a lot of things we can do. But the
Hmm.
problem is I still feel the kind of experience that I'm giving in my one core product is not that good still. We still have to work a lot on it. And as you focus more, your depth goes. A lot of people might focus on the width, but what matters, I feel, a lot many times is to go deep. Because when you go in depth, right, you essentially create your own moat in the business, because nobody else could go that deep and could
Hmm.
understand that business in that better way, customer experience in that better way, that you are able to deliver top-notch service, top-notch, you're able to do top-notch product, build top-notch product, give better claim service, or let's say there are a lot of things. See, these are interconnected things.
Hmm.
So instead of hovering around multiple discrete uh, domains, I feel what I mean, especially for us, we tend to focus on only two products initially, health and term. That's the reason, because we wanted to get into depth, and we could see every year there are so many things to do, right? So yeah, I mean, framework. See, the problem of life I feel is everybody wants models and frameworks. But you have to understand 100% life doesn't fit in any framework and models. Okay.
Right.
It tends to change. It tends to iterate. Right. The best framework for build a business is to first understand what your consumer really wants from you and how you can do it better than anyone else. That's it.
So what would you say about all these, professional or personal finance gurus who are sort of building products around selling templates and these educational videos and courses? Like, what's your opinion on that?
See, I mean, first of all, these guys, I'm not saying these guys are not doing a good thing or they are not adding value. A lot of people don't want to invest into learning where to invest. So they are dependent on these guys, right? As long as these guys are honest, many might not be, right? And provide right learning, it's all good.
Right.
As long as you're not selling something which you yourself won't buy, it's all okay. But the moment you start selling something which you yourself won't buy, then that's unethical. And then that's your, I mean, what I should say. I mean, it's a sham. So, I mean, people want to earn. That I understand. The influencer, everyone wants to earn. That's fine. And as long as you're providing value and you're giving the right gyan, whatever framework some people want a framework just to invest in a mutual fund. Let them.
Right.
Let them do it. Why? Who are we to tell them not to do it? Some want good large cap stock name. And if some fund finance guy is giving you, what's bad in that? Let them do, as long as it's the right, or because I believe, there's no such thing as 100% right, correct. I mean, here and there things might change, but it's okay. I mean, I don't feel any wrong in that.
Also, would it be fair to say that, based on an individual's preferences, goals, and dreams and everything, their investment patterns and everything changes?
Yes.
So there is no one size or one way to do things.
Yeah.
You need to find what works for you. So if a framework works for you,
like what works for me, it's very different.
Yeah.
How I think is very different. No, hardly people think like this. Very few people. There are a lot of people who believe in fire. Now,
what's your opinion on fire?
As I told, I have a big problem with the retirement word itself. Okay, I don't believe in all that, and I feel when I used to tell myself, financial independent, everybody wants. Maybe how you define it, that's your choice. I mean, you don't need to do a job to pay your expenses. So that's how I think about financially independent, right? Okay, you have interest, income or something coming up, and that is covering your basic expenses, right? So now with that logic, the job becomes not a way to learn, but it becomes a way to just earn. That's it. So you are seeing the job just not a way to grow yourself or evolve yourself. You're just thinking it as ठीक है यार, वो तो पैसा मिल रहा है तो मैं कर रहा हूँ, which is, I feel, is very myopic way of thinking, right? I feel a good job, let's say, whatever, if you are getting some challenges, right? See, everything is connected. I don't see anything different than professional, personal, and biological, how we operate. If you stop training your body, right, you will encounter sarcopenia beyond 40s, which means you start losing muscle because body feels you don't need it. The moment you feel like मुझे कुछ challenge चाहिए नहीं यार, automatically your brain also start thinking less because you're not giving them enough challenge to evolve, right? You're not giving your mental quotient, mental intelligence enough challenge to keep them, pump up, right? Anything. So I don't believe in all those things. I feel constant challenges should be taken up to keep yourself, up to date. Now there comes a question. Not everybody wants challenges. People want peaceful life, just sleep, walk, come home. That's it. So for them, it works. It's their life, their choices. Who am I to comment on that? Right. So, but I gave you the example, right? I mean, that's how I want myself to be, to keep my systems always ready. So I need to be getting on to next challenges. So there is no
Right.
concept of fire for me.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. Clearly, a lot of people will have counter opinions on this, but we will move on. We'll move on to actually the fact that, FinShots is something that I have come across very early in my life. Being somebody who has been very interested in personal finance and, and how people approach finance. And, one of, in your friend circle, one of those guys who understands relationships with money and how different people should be approaching that. And some things which are obviously not don't do's, right? So it's always been interesting in reading. Like मुझे याद है कि FinShots के वो लंबे लंबे न्यूज़लेटर्स आते थे, मतलब कि जिसको पढ़ने में भी कम से कम 20 मिनट 25 मिनट लग जाते थे, but because they were in depth, they would make you think, they would make you make points. Did you start with that idea that कि हमें content business बनाना है, हमें content करना है, or was it just something कि let's start putting out content and we'll figure out what to do?
No, as I said, right? I mean, we never wanted to become a content company. It just happened that one of our co-founders, Shrehith, was good at writing, and we had no money to do anything else other than to write about stocks. And that's how we used to research and then write about it. And when you do it continuously for a year, you get good at it, right? And then you saw that, okay, with writing also you can get subscribers, and later on maybe you can, these are your initial community which can use your product later on what you launch, right? So content just happened to us. It was never planned thing. We never knew we could write well, right? And Shrehith also was not aware that he could write. And we, as I said, right, when you want to do a startup but you are not, and I think we were lucky that we didn't get any funding at that point in time, because this helped us to build skills for content.
Okay. Yeah.
We have to make our content so well that it sells itself. It doesn't need once your content sells itself, you don't need any performance marketing or ads, right? So the content itself used to do user acquisition, and it used to do its own business itself. So it wasn't planned. It happened, and over the time we realized that this could be the next strategy.
Also, I think it started at a point where content marketing was still a buzzword, and it was picking up, and thought leadership and all these things were just coming into the realm. And I think people started looking at, while consuming your content, you FinShots as an industry leader who understands deeply into this area. But then that brings me to the question that, what was the product that you launched your business with if content was not the first thing?
We wanted to become a stockbroker, actually, and build an app with some good creative stories, videos, and then, do stockbroking. That was a plan. And that was the right time also, I feel, because after that, it boomed a lot. So, yeah, I mean, we thought maybe once somebody funds us, we will launch our stockbroking, but it never happened.
So ideally, we should have had a FinShots like a Grow and a Zerodha today. If things would have gone there.
Yes, we would have been a stockbroker, and it was the right time to start. I mean, because the market was just expanding. FinShots led to the success, whatever little success Ditto had. Similarly, if the stockbroking platform was there, the FinShot would have led to the success of that stockbroking platform.
So let's forget for a minute that Zerodha has invested in you. If today somebody gives you the money and says that, hey, why don't you start a stockbroker business? Would you jump into it now?
See, now I feel insurance is a very big market. We never knew this market was highly underpenetrated, and now stockbroking has become highly regulated. Okay,
right.
It no longer the same what it used to be. So much of competition, so many players. While insurance there are no competition, not enough competition at least, right? And it's a very difficult market to crack. So I would prefer to be at insurance now. Okay,
nice. But why? What made you guys stumble upon insurance as a business?
So we wanted to, as I said, we were figuring out what we could do other than stockbroking, and we wanted to launch a financial planner. And then we saw that mutual fund thing is very boring. We are not able to do much into it. There's no enough money to be made. And then we thought insurance license we have applied. and it's in pandemic, let's focus on insurance.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, finally we decided to dump it down because we had no option at that moment of time. And insurance, we researched, etc. And then yeah, it just happened out of the blue.
Nice. When Ditto Insurance came, initially it was launched, most of the stories I would hear around was that these are the people you call if you have any doubts around your insurance or just in insurance in general. And ये बेचते नहीं है कुछ भी, ये आपकी डाउट क्लियर
Yeah,
करते हैं, बोलते हैं कि थैंक यू और कुछ हेल्प चाहिए तो बता दीजिए. Like, how do
yeah.
you build a business based on that? Like, that's again very going against the popular way of
I'll
working.
tell you one thing. I don't know if you have watched The Golden Circle by Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
So you start with the why, right? So our marketing was always, if you see, we were never selling the product, right? Play low, and because that doesn't sell trust. We were always telling, we are selling advice. Come and take us free advice.
Correct.
And automatically that builds trust, and those people become your customers. Like in the video, if you see, they say that Nike never used to say, I have a great shoes. They always used to talk about great athletes, right? So your marketing should be in a way where you not directly talk about your product. You talk in a way where you are talking about some of the things where you can, build, help customers in a way, and customer could trust. Then that's how it works. And for us, trust was already there with FinShots. So all we needed was to just amplify it. And a lot of people didn't know we used to sell. It was a good thing, I feel, because slowly, steadily, people got to know we do that also. But because we only came but because if they know we sell, they might also think, okay, we are doing all this to sell.
Right.
But later on, when they get and they realize, they sell also, then they start thinking, okay, they gave me good advice. Now let's buy it from here only, na?
And you were selling, just to be clear about that, you were selling insurance that are already pre-existing in the market by other players, or you wanted to create your own product?
Distributor. We are distributors.
Right, distributors. So the business model was more that we will distribute, or we will sell the right insurance plan based on the customer's need and what fits their requirements. And obviously, because we are selling somebody's insurance, we will have a commission in the process that will become the business revenue. Is that fair?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And how has that model changed now over time?
No.
Is it different, or is that's the model still?
Same model.
So Policybazaar is also something that does in the same space, right? From a business model perspective. But I don't think as a business, as somebody who also understands business, I will ever see Policybazaar and Ditto Insurance in the same bucket. And I think it has to do a lot with the positioning. Right?
We are doing same thing, no doubt about it, but in a different market, in a different way.
Right.
Policybazaar, of course, is the biggest player in the market, and they do a lot of things: group, health, motor, etc. A lot of things they do, savings, etc. We are only focused on two products, health and term, and we are completely non-spam and completely inbound. You have to book a slot and time, and then that's the time we will only contact you. And there's been no spamming, which insurance industry is generally known for. So a very different way to operate, doing the same thing, but very different way to operate. And we are sticking to our values, and philosophy, which we have, that, people should be given service in a very different way when it comes to insurance, which has not happened in India till now. So that has worked for us. So it's going decent for us.
Nice. Have you ever had situations where investors or people who have invested in you in other ways have sort of asked you the question कि भाई वो company falana company तो इतना अच्छा कर रही है, how are we not growing at that scale or something?
And Zerodha is the only investor we have. So they are bootstrapped, and they know the power of being bootstrapped and not interfering, how it helps. So there's no such thing as investor coming and telling us that that company risk. And Zerodha, in fact, never asked us our numbers ever. They hardly cared about it. We just used to inform them, but yeah, they were very silently, observing. They never used to come and give
It
us,
was
this is
the
better.
right fit as well, right?
Yes.
Because a lot
The
of
marriage
times
of right philosophies.
Correct. Amazing. So going back to the Ditto Insurance business side and all, how big is the insurance in India? I've heard a lot of numbers around, we have had 550 million people jump into insurance last year. A lot of government policies are coming in, la la la. But like, I don't know if people are making the right decisions.
I honestly don't see at Ditto, our team. We had a fun discussion one day that there was one question somebody asked before I was going to a session, was that how did you figure out the product market fit, etc. And I saw that question and I was like, what is the answer of this? And then I asked my friend, the other founders, and they were like, even they don't know, right? And then we were talking that, in fact, all these buzzwords, etc., we never focused on that. We actually purely focused on, what can be done to help customers, right? What customers really need, what that person really needs, right? And that itself helped us to build something that is useful and valuable.
Right.
So market size कितना है, TAM कितना है, ये इसका क्या है, कभी उस पे फोकस किया ही नहीं. I don't know any numbers. मुझसे पूछो. I don't remember any number. Neither I remember मेरे last year का मेरे financial number कितने होंगे. In fact, I made a post out of it that a venture capital when visited us, one of the VCs were talking about numbers. I said, यार मुझे याद भी नहीं है. In fact, none of us our founders remember our numbers last year कितना किया था. We feel a lot of these things are distractions. Of course, there are counterpoints. See, everybody has opinion. Right. And I keep on saying, as long as it works for you, it works for you, no matter what opinion others hold for you, right?
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, मुझे नहीं पता क्या number है, कितना बड़ा market है. We are just doing, and we feel we have been growing for sure, and we feel, ठीक है, maybe we could have grown a bit more. Maybe we could have not grown also. Let's suppose. But the point is, we are doing without taking a toll on our mental health and on our physical health. We are happy doing it. We are enjoying the process. We are loving the process. And that's what is more important. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that market size, etc., whatever is there, I have no clue about it.
Amazing. And this is something actually I would also like to make sure that our listeners or people who are watching right now make a point of, it's not about, not knowing the numbers, or judging an entrepreneur or the process based on how they're doing on certain parameters and things like that. I think the key point here is to find what works for you. I think that's the key point, right? If those numbers helps motivate you and move you forward and keep you going, great. I mean, do that. But I think Pawan, what you are saying is that, find the right mix of things that works for you and obviously your customers, and always keep them in the center of the golden circle, right? Like make sure that their doubts are answered, their needs are fulfilled, and you are sort of helping them in the process. Business will automatically ban jayega business, right?
Yeah, I mean, see, there are a lot of people who will not agree to a lot of things.
Of course.
Right? Now, whether you want to be likable and do things that people also agree, I feel that's a big weakness as well, because you can't do that, right? And I firmly believe that I'm not here to sell ice cream, right? It's at the end of the day, what I'm doing, I'm happy with it. My team is happy with it. My employees are happy with it, right? And whatever growth, maybe someday 50%, some year, let's say someday 100%, some year, let's say 30%, right? Of course, I can tend to try to make it better and, do a lot of things. But you will always have yardstick and somebody telling you, hey, you know what? You could have done this. You could have compared yourself with this. So that is always a way to get into resentment zone and stay always having in a regretful way of doing things, right? then what's the point of having a life where you are not happy at all, and all the time you are living with regret, comparing each and everything that is happening around, and then a lot of noise, right? What's the point of having it? So I genuinely believe that comparing based on valuations, numbers, etc. I mean, yeah, 10 साल पहले Flipkart, Snapdeal, so many buzzwords happened. Ola, this thing that time happened. No, now nobody remembers where Snapdeal went and Flipkart got acquired, etc. You won't be remembered for long, anyways. Okay. So whatever time you have, whatever small time, enjoy it. Anyways, we all are going to get forgotten once, right?
Right.
So what's the point of being in pain when you have the most energy, most enthusiasm, and stay unhappy?
Absolutely. And is this something that resonates with your co-founders as well, or do you think that all of your different personalities?
Everyone, we all are same.
Okay.
We all are same. That's why we are together. We all are very, very similar. We know that a lot of noise is there in the market. We have seen enough of it. Else we would have long time told, funded this, valuation this. We could have entered that rat race.
Yeah.
We tend to avoid it. People come to us, investments, etc., everything, but we don't want that because it is coming at the cost of freedom. It is coming at the cost of that happiness. So yeah, that's the answer for it.
Nice. So essentially, would it be fair to say, in a way, you are much like a bootstrapped company only, eventually?
Yes,
right?
yes, it's kind of a bootstrap only. So perks of having Zerodha on cap table, because they themselves were bootstrapped, so they operate, they think like a bootstrap. So they it flows to us.
I think it goes back to the point of what you made, ki bhai, business family ke bacche kyun karte, right? So it's all about the mindset. You need to surround yourself with the people whose mindset and grow with them.
Yes,
right?
That is very, very important. If the people around you defines you, if you don't agree to that, subconsciously it defines you over the years. It doesn't happen over the night, over the period of months, but it definitely defines you over the period of 5 years. So make sure you surround yourself with the right people. If you are not finding the right people, then stay alone. And maybe go to some place, have network, build network, do something else, right? So I mean, and see, there is no such thing as right way of doing, wrong way of doing things. Ye sahi bola, wo galat bola. I agree to it, I don't agree to it. It's fine, as long as I said, it works for you, it makes you happy. It's fine, it's yours, right? If it doesn't, you didn't like that opinion, you didn't like that person's ideology. It's fine. Don't follow him. Don't listen to him.
Right. And even if you follow, and if you're doing something, like if you're following an opinion, at least make your own judgments whether it's working for you or not, right? Because just because somebody says this works doesn't mean it may work for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I firmly believe that I mean, somebody who is sharing their experiences is all okay. Recently somebody shared that they don't believe in giving advice, right? Because if their grandfather would have given, if they would have gone to their grandfather to take the advice, they would have told, you should become a clerk in East India Company, right? And the guy is right now running a big company. He's an entrepreneur. So the point is, the generation behind us, of course, who is having the lot of experience, right, is of the world which no longer exists. Now the world has changed so much. So I feel it's somebody sharing their experience and they believe into that. Of course, for them it's an advice. They see the world because they have gone through those things, so they see it different. It's your job whether you want to pick something and apply or not. They would always give in a certain way because they have seen the world in a certain way. It's not their problem. It's not their wrong. It's just how they have experienced and everyone's life experiences are different. We all have grown in different ways. We all genetically so different, right? So I mean, it's just point is whether you want to pick and apply or not. Move on, no problem.
Amazing. So Because I have you here and you are somebody who is clearly very opinionated, has a clear understanding of what works, what does not work for you at least. I would like to take the opportunity of maybe throwing a couple of questions at you from a perspective ki, I am reaching out to FinShots and Ditto, and let's see what opinion can you give me. So what if, I'm somebody who is a 21-year-old just fresh out of college and getting into my first job and all, and over the next few years my perspective is that ki, bhai, khao piyo ash karo, वैसे भी whatever money I'm getting is enough for rent and only so much. But people around me are talking about ki, save early and all that stuff, right? So should I be doing something to make sure ki bhai मैं personal finance की journey में already start हो जाऊं and start saving, or would you say ki would you have a different kind of an approach for me?
See, again, this is not something that I'm giving because I have experienced it, but I firmly believe that we are too much getting into money aspect and trying to force fit everything about saving, retirement, and finance. That also I feel is a propaganda sold to middle class people. I do believe that as well. When you are early in life, I feel you should focus on getting good at something, even if it comes at a cost of some money or something. Invest in it, right? Good at something, whatever you like. If you could go up to the pyramid, you definitely finance will fall in place. It doesn't matter. It will fall in place, right? You just have to understand that better than the average Joe out there in the world. So to a 21-year-old, you started talking about savings, etc., completely telling him not to take risk and just keep the money in some FD, etc. I genuinely don't buy the point. I genuinely don't agree to it. People bash me for this or, call me wrong for this. I'm all okay. I don't care. But I feel people should go out, take risk, take experiences, learn something, figure out what works, what doesn't work with them, and then build that skill over the decades, right? And then automatically they become the best, and the money will follow them. They should not follow money.
Great. So what you're saying, if I have to put in a nutshell, is start investing early, but that doesn't mean mutual fund, kuch invest in
exactly. Yes.
Right.
Why you are talking investing money? Why money is a commodity that will come to you if you are in the right place, if you are build yourself in the right way, if you have invested enough in your skill, if you are meeting that demand in the market, it will come to you. So you have to invest in yourself, and when you are investing yourself, you are your SIP. Your money is just a way to, it's a platform through which that SIP happens. That's it. I 100% agree to the propaganda sold by people who are earning through it because they want to stay relevant in the game.
Right.
And they talk about it because people who have the right knowledge or who are wealthy, they don't talk about becoming rich in 20s, 30s. They don't talk about it. They are silent. They are sitting somewhere. They don't even worry.
Also years before, when people, our family, mein dada, unhone paise banaye, there were no saving schemes, there were no FDs, but they have made money. They have made sure money is working from them. Un paisa lagaya hai, unhone apne life jiye, and it's not like they have not had a good life in their way, right?
See, savings, etc. is, I can tell you that it's a personal choice, right? You want to go a very, like my friend who is my co-founder, he doesn't want to take a lot of risk in life, right? He wants to go straight. He wants to measure everything, right? He doesn't want to take a path that is, uncharted because he is risk averse, right? Now for him or a person like it works. They want to particularly focus on a straight line, save, and they like it. That personal finance guru or somebody is a good person for him. They follow them. They will fight for them, and anyone saying against them, they will It's a cult in the short,
Right.
right? So that's all okay. All I am saying is there is a world beyond that. If you want, you can explore it. That's it.
Great. Okay, I'll jump to another one. I know this is coming like rapid fire to you, but I want to throw another
That's
one
okay.
at you.
That's okay.
Coming to insurance, right? So another very popular opinion, I think it's changing over time, is that term insurance कौन लेता है यार? Like there's no return on it. क्या ही होगा? You're already planning you will die early and things like that, right? So should be health insurance होना चाहिए, because obviously health is going for a toss. You will have hospital bills and everything taken care of. If you have companies health insurance, then also is fine, but you should have health insurance for sure. Term insurance, it's optional. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
See, I mean, everything is measured based on the risk in life. Like, how do you see, like, risk defines how do you invest and how do you allocate your savings or buy insurance or not. How do you see risk? I have met people who say, यार मैं तो कभी बीमार पड़ा नहीं, पढ़ूंगा भी नहीं, तो मैं इंश्योरेंस नहीं लूंगा, health insurance, right? Fair enough. They see the risk like that. That's fine. We can't do much about it. Now a lot of people say कि मुझे क्या होने वाला है, मैं तो मरने वाला हूँ ही नहीं, right? अभी तो नहीं मरूंगा, और मरूंगा भी तो मैं तब तक बहुत पैसे कमा लूंगा. That's fine. Don't buy term insurance, right? Now there are people who are paranoid about it, who have seen somebody close dying in very early, getting cancer or something happened to them, close ones, right? They got sick, and one big event, healthcare event, and the family went bankrupt or they were in debt. So it depends on how you want to see it. You will see it maybe someday when it happens to somebody closer to you. Just like you see a lot of people after getting health scare stick to the gym, etc. No, cholesterol level, LDL levels went so high. So it depends. How do you measure a lot of people now are, I feel, very well educated and aware. I mean, the young generation, so they understand the value of having a good health insurance, term insurance. See, I mean, any unforeseen circumstance. Now, there was somebody who was used to manage my account. I don't want to take the name or etc. Give more this thing, but the person died, hardly 22-year-old, in a waterfall near Bombay. Right?
Okay.
Nobody would have thought about it. Nobody would have thought about it. So, I mean, now of course, if you have dependent, you want to plan for that particular unforeseen circumstance or not, it's completely on you, right? Nobody can force you. How you are aware, how sensitive you are towards your family for those unforeseen circumstances. Recently I got a case where a couple went to Indonesia, and the husband was doing an adventure sport. I forgot the name of it, and he drowned.
Oh,
right. And his wife called us crying, etc. And nobody, you never thought about it, right? And I think so. I mean, these kind of things happens, right? So you don't know. I mean, what could happen? So it's good to plan, good to have, but obviously, as I said, depends how you want to see risk.
Right. Got it. Makes sense. And the last one, and this is coming from more of a personal experience. I always feel that when it comes to buying insurance, there are a lot of people who tell you a lot of glowing things about an insurance, and इसमें ये अच्छा है, इसमें वो अच्छा है, और फलाने ने लिया था, उसको ये फायदा हुआ, वगैरह वगैरह. But you only realize the realities of the insurance plan you have when you end up in a situation where you have to exercise it, right? Like I have closer to around COVID, I had my father who underwent a major surgery, and then the insurance, which we thought was a great one and would cover, would only reimburse some 50% of the overall cost. And they gave too many reasons based on our policy, only so much, and things like that, right? How does a person like me make sure that we don't end up in that situation, right? Where Because you can't, the insurance documents are massive, right? Most people will not go through every single line item and understand in detail. And in fact, language is also not accessible for everyone. How do we make sure that we don't fall for the sales tactics and later cry?
See, right now, I mean, me and my team has seen insurance industry very closely. Okay. What I realized over the time is having somebody to back you during the tough time is very, very important. Somebody who can fight for you, a third party. Right? It might be an agent who is living nearby to your house and sold you, or maybe a company like Ditto, right? Who can be there without any vested interest over there. No. Now, if I am the person who is going to get the premium and I am the same person who is going to pay you, there is always slight this thing. Having a third party who has no interest in that transaction, will always fight for you during that event, right? So when you buy from a place like Ditto, let's say, right? I would say where advice, misselling is something which is blatant in lot many places. So I mean, at Ditto we have tried to curb it as much as possible. It's I would say there is no misselling at all. In fact, we have kept it, because every call we have kept a very strict quality, etc. The first thing that you have to do is to disclose everything.
Right.
Disclose every single thing without because some people might have seen saying diabetes hai thoda sa. There is no such thing as thoda sa blood pressure, thoda sa diabetes, because it's because they don't understand it. So they explain it in that way. And later on it gets rejected because they didn't disclose it. So try to disclose everything. And then, once anything arises, right? Let's say you have to exercise it. Having that agent on site is must, I would say, because right now what we do at Ditto is, even if the insurance company rejects on some reasons, we raise it, we take the onus to take it to ombudsman, and we only take it then if we are not getting through ombudsman, we take it to another third party that could help us resolve legally those cases. So we try to help customers in all possible, because we know how tricky it is, because medical subjectivity is definitely tricky, right? So some sort of a third party help is needed. So yeah, I do believe people should keep these few things at least in mind. Disclose everything properly, and then have somebody to back you during that, because when you need them the most, you need insurance the most is during the claim. And during that time when you are claiming, your mental state is not right at all, because you're tensed. So having somebody to help you at that point is really, really important. So yeah, I feel that is something I would say needed.
Yeah. So if I have to really narrow it down, even if you don't understand the terms, make sure you're buying from someone who is there to support you after the sale has also happened, right? It's not just about selling it.
Yes.
Because a lot of us go through people in family circles.
Then otherwise what will happen is the person, because here at Ditto what we do is, because if the claim gets rejected, something like, we tend to back check whether the advisor missold it or what, because I don't want any mis-selling happening here. So an advisor also knows that they can't just sell it off, right? If something wrong happens, every single call we will listen, and we might fire them also but it never happened. Rarely I have seen it happening here. In fact, never I've seen. So when you have these interests aligned, right, the chances are your advice will be good, and the same company has to support you. So they can't sell you something which is wrong, because the same person has to support you, right? How will they support if they have sold you wrong, right? So that is needed.
Got it. Another thing, you mentioned ombudsman, right? I don't know how many people are familiar with that term also. But I know that people who have gone through an experience of claiming for insurances and later when they have tried to push the company to give them better claim amount and all, this word has always come up, right? So if you can just throw some light on what exactly it means, and two, if it's really recommended and works, because a lot of people thinks कि they think कि क्या होगा फायदा, मतलब कि ये सब process में जाके, right?
No, it works. It works. In fact, majority of the cases that goes to ombudsman gets approved as well, what I've seen, right?
Okay.
So you just have to, ombudsman is nothing but, the regulator's body that takes care of all the escalations that happens at customer and insurer's end. And basically a lawyer is there, who mediate, etc. But yeah, we have whatever, a lot of cases that you have raised has definitely got resolved to ombudsman. Many times if it's a clear cut non-disclosure, then the third party or advisors like Ditto or somebody will clearly tell you that, hey, you have not disclosed this, so ombudsman can't help you. If it's a clear wrong that you have done, you have materially hidden something, then nobody can do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So if let's say someone like me, I just told you my situation. Now I have gone through this experience. I have not bought my insurance through Ditto, but now I have to reach out to ombudsman and see if I can get some of this.
You have to do it on your own. In that case, or you have to search over the internet and then do it. Here
and
we generally
is it straightforward or is it complicated?
Slightly, not very complicated, but yeah, slight hard work you have to do. But if you have, that's what I'm saying. If somebody is there to back you, it becomes very easy, because generally people don't know ये सब हो सकता है, right?
Right.
So that's where the importance of having
the right advisor
is important, right? A very, very important need is there. But yeah, I mean, over the time, I feel people will realize.
Absolutely. And I think Ditto is doing a fantastic job there, clearly based on the extensive good word going around. I believe, obviously, your content does a lot of marketing, but word of mouth is what gets you most of your customers, right?
Yeah.
And that is the best form of organic marketing, where you make sure that happy customers get more customers.
No, if as I said, right, I mean, word of mouth only happens when people feel valued, right? When they really feel that सामने वाले ने मेरी genuinely help की, and they are not just there to sell something.
Right.
And that's the reason why we get word of mouth. And not just us, any other businesses that get a lot of word of mouth must be adding extraordinary amount of value to their service, to their consumers' life. And that's the reason why consumers are going and shouting about, are basically the flag bearers of that brand. So that is the reason why it happens. And we have told this multiple times that if you talk to any for advisor, you tell them मुझे नहीं लेना है, मुझे फिर भी चाहिए advice, nobody will say no. You will not get any spam. They will help you. They might review your policy. They will review your policies if you have. And आपको बता देंगे ये app के लिए. If you want to buy from outside also, they might give you the link also. ये website है, आप यहाँ से खरीद सकते हो. They will not tell you go to Ditto if we are not selling that. So yeah, the process has been very transparent, and people who are followers of Ditto and FinShot, they believe us that this brand, both FinShot, will not go to any unethical route. They will always, they will rather not do a lot of things. They will only do few things just to keep that ethics line drawn, which is a very easy to say, but very few businesses has been able to do it.
Yeah.
And we want to be one of them.
Great. I completely agree that, a business needs to have a great value system. And most businesses start with a value system, and most of the values are connected with the founders, with the entrepreneurs, with the team who started the business. But like you said, over time, as situation changes, as business grows, as more people come in, it's very difficult to stick to that value system. So, what is keeping Ditto and FinShots, true to their value system? Like, is there something that you are doing in your team that is helping?
See, what you said is correct. As company grows over the time, a lot of things changes. I feel Oh, the reason why we are still being that way is because, we have seen the immense amount of, word of mouth that adding into the business, a lot of positive this thing, which over the long run will become a big, trust show for us, which is like, see, because when you do it for 10 years, what I personally believe, and my team also believes in the same. See, when you do that through a decade, right? Basically, a decade it will take you to build a good institution. Then that brand name itself will be synonymous to trust. So anything then you do next is going to sell itself. You're getting my point, right? So
Yeah.
very few businesses have understood it because the reason is they want to grow very fast.
Right.
And when you want to do that, you will dilute something, one or the other. So, बस यही है, the difference नहीं है इसमें. You just have to be clear, understanding what you want, what you don't want. We are clear what you don't
Totally.
want, so that's
Totally. And
yeah.
and I think that's a great way to put it out there also. So people who are listening, who are watching us, you would have learned a lot about through this conversation what Ditto does, what FinShots does, but more importantly, what we try to do at ISN is to talk about the different philosophies of building business. And Pawan, you have been extremely helpful and open to talking about your approaches, your policies, and I'm sure it would help a lot of the existing and even upcoming business owners to build ethically value-driven, culturally driven businesses that are very customer focused. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for everything that you shared with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.